the bump and run, the Bristol move.
That's aggressive, but that's good. Good hard racing. Oh, he puts him out of the groove there.
Oh, man.
Will he get the bumper? Yes, he does. Here comes Logano. Logano on the inside. A drag race. They're sideways. And it's going to be Logano getting the win.
The back end of the 18. Kick out.
Yeah, he got into it. Moved him out of the way. Just got the lead.
It's almost too early to be racing that hard for the lead, wasn't it?
Never too early to be racing for the lead.
At Bristol.
At Bristol.
Man, this is one of the biggest wins of my career.
It's the bump and run,
Baby.
Yeah, welcome to the Bump and Run podcast. I'm your host, Michael D.Y., joined by my two best friends, Matt the Statman Reilly and Eric Daytona Ron. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had yourselves a Denny Hamlin type of weekend. He was the big winner down in Pocono for real this time. He won it last year, got disqualified. This time the car was clean. He goes away with the win, but was the win clean? We'll talk about that a little later on. Also, we missed last week. We were on vacation. Congratulations to Martin Truex Jr. He won himself a lobster up in Loudon, New Hampshire. And Matt the Statman Reilly told you to pick him to win on the podcast last episode we did. So if you did, you won yourself some money. Maybe you bought yourself a lobster with the winnings. I hope you did to celebrate. But fellas, before we get going, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that jazz. Podcast available on all podcast platforms, usually every Monday night, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and more. And every Tuesday morning, available on YouTube. But we were coming back from Pocono. We needed a break yesterday. I tell you what, I got all beat up. I know Eric got all beat up. How about you, Matt? You came home from family vacation on Saturday. You never made it down to the track, unfortunately, but just how was the last couple of weeks, fellas? How was your vacation, Matt? You guys enjoying life? I know we were enjoying the infield, so.
Vacation was good. Speaking of lobster, I didn't come home looking like a lobster, so that's a success in and of itself.
Me too, bud.
Yeah, I had every intention of getting up there on Sunday, but we got home late Saturday afternoon and realized how much we really have to do around the house, and so it just, in order for me to get up there on Sunday, I would have had to get up at like 6 a.m. and just a long week at vacation. You guys know how it is. After vacation, you need a vacation.
Oh yeah.
So there was just no way I was getting up at 6 a.m. I wasn't going to lie to myself. I had shit to do around the house on Sunday. So I bit the bullet and, watched it. You guys were the boots on the ground. I watched it from home. And, every so often when one or two of us is at a race and the third one is at home, we get to cross those streams and compare notes, if you will, the differences between being at the track and watching the broadcast. So, I like that sometimes we get to do that as well.
Well, I'm not going to lie because I was doing some drinking. So I think you're going to need to fill in a lot of holes for me and
Daytona
Daytona
drinking
Ron.
now with NASCAR races?
Yeah, apparently. And then apparently you bring your own cooler full of whatever you want. Although, shout out to
not at Phoenix.
Not at Phoenix. Shout out to a friend of the show, a good friend, Robbie Shredder Shrey. He introduced me to Pocono Punch, 7.1%, and it is dangerous. I think it was like $8 a can. You couldn't beat it. They were real tasty. But Eric, how you doing, man?
I'm just slowly getting my voice back. Yesterday, I really wanted to hop on here and do it, but I don't even know if I was physically able to sit in this chair and for the audience to even understand what was going to be coming out of my mouth. So, this year, Pocono, it kicked my ass, man. We partied hard. And man, did we put on a show. It was a lot of, I would say, beer drinking, laughter, sun, and good times at Pocono, not only in our infield camping little area,
yeah,
but every single person that I saw was having the exact amount of fun that I was having.
Oh, yeah.
And when you match that amongst everybody and you're surrounded, the atmosphere and the buzz that came about, oh, my gosh. That weekend, I think it's half the reason why it kicked my ass was because the atmosphere just made you go even harder.
Oh, yeah.
And just, it was it was something to be a hold of and to be a part of. And when on Sunday came and I stood on my truck for the first time and saw that crowd,
Yeah.
man, did it send chills.
I'll say this too is, obviously the Talladega infield is the end all be all as far as parties go in the NASCAR world. But the Pocono infield is getting love, and it's starting to get a lot of love. I forget which one of the NBC guys mentioned it during the broadcast, but they said, we took a bike ride or a walk. I forget what they said. We took a bike ride or a walk around the track or the infield last night or whatever, and I'll tell you what, it rivaled Talladega. So it's like hearing that, I'm like, let's go, man, because we've been there. We've been going there for our entire adult lives, and we know how it is, and it seems like it keeps getting better and better and better and better as the years go on. And it's a party. It's a great time. There's very few times there's confrontations up there. And like you said, it's a good vibe. And just not being up there kills me. And I'm making my return next year, no matter come hell or high water. I'm going to be there with you boys. And just hearing you guys tell the stories and everything, it just makes me wish I was there. So
I like hearing the stories again too, because I forget a lot of stuff, and then people tell me, "Oh, remember? Oh, yeah, okay." Yeah. So it's almost you get to relive it over again,
Well, I ended up getting in a confrontation down in Pocono. I'll tell you that story. But first, I saw a great tweet that said that Talladega is the Pocono of the South. And I think that's great because you want to know what, the party scene at Pocono, I feel like it's always been there. It's just it's been a great kept secret up here in the North, and people are really recognizing the type of work we're putting in on the infield all weekend long from Thursday until Monday. In Eric's case, I left Sunday after the race, but I did get into a confrontation because I feel like our group together, we were all very well behaved, having a good time, and we were responsible. We would go to bed pretty early, probably by like 12:30, 1 o'clock, which was kind of shocking. But on Friday night into Saturday morning, I fell asleep at like 12:30, passed out in the tent. I woke up at 2 o'clock to the loudest fucking music in the world, right? But I'm like, you want to know what? People are partying, whatever. I kept trying to go back to sleep. I'd fall asleep for like 10 minutes and get startled awake again. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
2:30 rolls around. I'm like, all right, come on, guys. It's getting fucking late. 3 o'clock rolls around. Now I'm getting fucking pissed. I'm like, I need a...
Now, mind you, there's others like Colin and Jen are right next to Whitey.
We're all
there's some other people there. So they're also, the next day, they're also getting irritated in their tent as well.
So we're all tent camping. We're in the tent camping section where we know this is the rowdiest. So like, I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. So it's 3 o'clock. I'm like, let me walk around this fucking place and let me just see. I walked all around the tent camping area. They were the only people still playing music. There was only one other party going on near the end, and they were just kind of bullshitting with each other. So 3:30 rolls around. I see Colin get out of the tent, and I'm like, he's pissed too. Fuck it. I'm going over there. I walked over. They were like the camp right next to us. I shined flashlights right in their faces.
Yeah, like a cop.
Like a fucking cop. And I go, it's 3:40 in the morning. You need to shut the fucking music down. Just like that. And they start like talking, like jabbering at me. And there was just like 3 dudes and a chick. And the chick's really starting. I go, no, because you turned it down before and then you turned it back up. Time to shut it down. And I start walking away and they're still saying stuff. And the one guy goes, sorry, man, I didn't realize how late it was. They turned it down, listened to one song, and then they went the fuck to bed.
Yeah. Officer Whitey, pulling up.
The sheriff is in town.
The law,
he's out there like gigging frogs, just fucking shining lights right in their eyes, just startle him right there.
They didn't know what to do.
Right in his bag.
They didn't know what to do. And
if you know Whitey, like we know Whitey, like dude, you're not a confrontational person. So for me to hear this, is my first initial reaction is I'm proud of you. Yeah. And 2, like I am like that is the funniest thing in the world.
You know what really
the flashlight. Yeah. What are you guys up to?
You know what really set me off though was because they were the tent right next to Colin and Jen. This was Colin and Jen's first time camping, and I wanted to make sure that they had a good time, and I knew that they weren't getting any sleep either, you know? And it was 3:30. I know the Holler Parade rolls in at 6 o'clock, and the first race in the morning was at 8:30. So I'm like, I'm going to get 2 fucking hours of sleep and then drink all day long. I need my rest, baby. I need to be able to go all day.
The two most important things in the infield is ice cold beer and sleep.
Yeah.
Because without either of those, you're not going to have a good time.
No. But we had a great time after that. No problems with the neighbors. No problems with us. Had a blast after that. But I figured Matt would get a kick out of that story. Because,
you know what you do, too? You tell them, guys, at noon, come over. We'll drink a beer together. But you got to shut it fucking down.
You want to know what? I thought about going over and making peace later on. But you want to know what? I didn't feel like it. I didn't need to. Yeah. You know, I just disappeared into the darkness after that.
Room at that point.
But yeah, just a great time in general. Do you want to jump right into to the news? We got a little bit of news to cover over the last couple weeks.
Yeah, the news is kind of interesting too.
Yeah. So after we got off the air 2 weeks ago, Busch Light announced they signed a multi-year deal to sponsor Ross Chastain. This was something that has been being speculated about for a couple months now, but it's finally official. Just want to know what you guys think about, Anheuser-Busch moving over from SHR over to Trackhouse Racing and picking Ross Chastain to represent their brands, because it's a pretty big deal when you think about the history of Anheuser-Busch in the sport.
I mean, Ross moves the needle, right? Like, look at the beginning of this year, the second half of last year, he moves the needle. So, I mean, they're going to get that brand sponsorship that they're looking for. Me personally, here I am wearing my Josh Berry shirt. I wish Josh was able to take that to keep the Busch with the 4, because I feel like Josh, a hardworking blue collar guy, would fit great with the Busch brand.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. How long until they come out with the Busch watermelon?
Dude, I was just going to bring that up. I go, what? I just thought marketing genius, Busch watermelon. Because, I love Hell or High watermelon, the watermelon beer. I would love a Busch watermelon. They got Busch peach this year. Maybe next summer it'll be Busch watermelon.
And Busch apple, Busch peach. They'll come out with it.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Eric? What do you think about it?
I wonder if this deal had something to do with Ross kind of toning down as well. Remember we blamed it all on Rick Hendrick when he came out, made that statement and everything. What if there was some other workings in with this sponsorship deal and everything too? Because like you said, Matt, he does move the needle, but sometimes, it might not be for the good. I know in advertising, it doesn't matter. You're getting it out there, but it, like Whitey said, that's kind of a prestigious sponsorship in the sport. And, hopefully Ross could keep up with his talent and, his trajectory is going in the upward direction as far as his career goes. And, if he could keep that rolling, then I think it's a good move, because he's a blue collar, watermelon farmer. He comes from that background where he could fit that too. And like what he said, that's the first thing that popped in my head when that, there's the trailer for it. When that watermelon rolled out, I was just thinking, oh, they're going to make a watermelon beer. Yep. And he's going to go, it's almost a match made in heaven when you look at it from a PR standpoint.
Yeah, think how many watermelon beers Ross Chastain could sell to the NASCAR crowd.
Oh yeah. The Busch is crazy out there. That is one of the number one beers, at least in our area here, where you could get it at the bar. They sell cans of it at the bar. So yeah, I think Ross could definitely make some sales for sure.
And then speaking of Trackhouse, Shane Van Gisbergen is returning to NASCAR to run the Indy Road Course. So what do you guys think about SVG coming back over from Australia and doing some more NASCAR racing?
Love me some SVG, man. Bring him back. He put on a clinic last time he was here. Come back and do it again.
Yeah, SVG was electric. I mean, just dominated too. And he made the Cup guys honestly look like they didn't know what they were doing out there. Yeah. And, now he's going to have a little competition because at the time it was announced, I don't know about now, it's been a week or so, but the number one points leader in his circuit over there in the supercar, RCR got him to come over and drive that in their 33 car.
Yeah. I forgot that for the news. I missed that.
I'm trying to think of his name off the top of my head, and I can't, and I apologize for that. But so he's going to have the number one. I think SVG was 3 in their standing. So you're going to have, 2 people in the top 3 in their majors, sport that they come from, racing over here in the Cup Series. And
that's exciting as hell.
The Project 91, though, this is exactly what they were trying to do with it. Get somebody from another series, put them in this car, and let them experience NASCAR. And man, is this Project 91 car, did it start off on fire with SVG out there? And I think it will continue. Trackhouse, we talked about Ross. They are an up and coming team. They they're not going anywhere, and they put together some good cars. So I could see SVG doing well. So
Brody Costecchi is coming to race for RCR, also at the Indy Road Course. And then I did see and I forgot it in the news too. I can't believe it. It's been too long since our last episode. But someone has been practicing in a 2311 car. I don't think it's for the Indy Road Course. I think it's for Watkins.
Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, it was Tyler Reddick. No, he was practicing with the guy. I forget his name. He's an Asian driver. But he said he picked it up really quickly too. My biggest thing is
we talked about that at the fan fairway.
Yeah,
I remember that conversation we had.
I can't remember his name either, but my biggest thing and the thing I'm excited most about to see these Australian V8 supercar guys do is battle in a side-by-side restart. Because the Chicago street course, because it was wet, they were doing single file restarts. I really want to see how much the Cup guys kind of beat these guys around, because it seems like that's kind of the MO when some of these F1 drivers come over and try to run a road course here and there. Our guys just eat them up on restarts, and I wonder if that'll happen to SVG and the guy from RCR. So what do you guys think about that whole aspect of it?
Dude, you don't know that, man. I mean, if we get weather, if rain rolls in, we may be going single file.
Oh yeah, well that's true too. I'm just kind of hopeful for the prospect of seeing it happen. I want to see them really get the full Fender stock car experience in America,
I don't know, that one restart a couple weeks ago that I sent to you guys and sent to Matt of that one that SVG ran, that was an intense restart. Yeah. They were close. They were getting up on one another. So
they were side by side too.
Yeah.
I mean, they started from a dead stop, but they were side by side. Listen, I'm not going to rule SVG after what I saw in Chicago. I'm not going to rule him or doubt him out of anything.
Not one bit, dude. He went out there and won the first time he was in the car. Yep. You got to give him all the benefit at this point in time until he goes out there and just drops a dud, which you don't just go out there and win a race and then drop a dud. I feel like that some of these road course ringer type of people that come into our sport, it's usually that way where, they might have a top 5 run. And you're all like, oh my God, look at what he did in the top. He got a top 5 run. And then he never does anything ever again every time they try to get him in a car. And that's why I used to hate the road course ringers. I don't know how long you guys have been listening to the show here, but there came a point where I'm just like, I'm tired of them. Like, they don't do anything in the rides. Give somebody that's in a Cup car or someone that needs that ride, give them a legit shot in there. But SVG went out and proved me wrong that these guys that they get could come in there. And I don't know how much you guys think it's the Trackhouse car. I think it has a lot to do with it because they're fast. They're getting
it's a match made in heaven, man. It's a really, really talented race car driver put in a really good equipment.
And that's the thing we see normally with these road course ringers is they're not in the best equipment. Usually it's like a Rick Ware Racing car, Spire car, one of those deals, like one of those part-time rides. Kamiyu Kobayashi is going to be also running the Indy Road Course for 2311. So he's an F1 guy. He's Formula GP, all sorts of stuff. So going to be an interesting Indy Road Course coming up in 2 weeks from now. So I'm kind of excited for that. And now we have 3 road course ringers in really competitive rides with 2311, Trackhouse, and RCR. They're going to put together a great car too. So I'm excited to see what the road course ringers could do at Indy. Let's see. Someone who is leaving an RCR affiliated team, Colleague Racing, this one took me by surprise, to be honest with you. It was announced on Friday when we were at the track. Justin Haley will be leaving Kaulig Racing at the end of the season and heading to Rick Ware Racing. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, to me, it was shocking, Whitey, for sure, because I thought they were one of these upcoming teams.
Yeah.
But maybe the writing on the wall there in the Chevy camp, just like with LMC, if the money's never going to be there, he knows he might get stuck in that car. Now, if you're thinking, oh, he's going to Rick Ware Racing.
Yeah.
What is he thinking? Well, pump your brakes. If Rick Ware Racing is affiliate with RFK, and, that RFK program, I feel like over in the Ford side, they are gaining a lot more momentum than Kaulig Racing is.
Yeah.
So if RFK could put together a car through Rick Ware for Justin and have that, that affiliate, this might actually be improvement for him, because JJ Yaley has been running well in that 15 car. It's been way better than it has in the past since, Cody, he's not in the car anymore. So they're actually seeing what that team could do with their race cars instead of just going out and crashing them every week.
Yeah.
So to me, this could just be a gamble that Justin's taking, and he's hoping it pays off.
Not only that, too, like right now, Rick Ware Racing is on the RFK campus. Like they're in the shop,
right.
It's not like they're just getting information from Stuart Haas Racing like they were last year or anything. Like these are prepared cars. And if you, like, to your point, if you look at the owner's points right now for that 15 car, who's a bunch of different people are driving it, it's 32nd in points, but it's still ahead of this guy, Noah Gragson. It's right behind Stuart Haas's 14, and it's right behind Austin Dillon. I know those last two, well, all three of those guys had points penalties, but still, like, Rick Ware Racing could be a potentially, I don't know, good ride in a couple of years, So
put it this way. Look at what LaJoie is doing with the 7 Inspire. I do think he has improved that Spire 7 car. I think he's had some decent runs in that Spire car. So why leave that to go somewhere else, build Spire up, So him staying there, I think this is kind of similar to that. Hey, go to this team that needs some help, that's getting the benefit from RFK, who is getting tremendously better over the last 2 years. And I don't know, maybe he has some information we don't yet to know that is the right move. Like maybe there's something going on with Kaulig where that team is maybe they're having a little bit of trouble behind that we don't know about yet. And he's just covering his own ass by making this deal now and saying, hey, I see the writing on the wall. I'm going to make this move.
Yeah, I was as shocked as you guys were, as I'm sure most NASCAR fans were, because that kind of, usually with NASCAR, there's usually a little bit of smoke before fire erupts, and there really wasn't. Like, there was no rumblings of this until it was announced.
Yeah,
no, and my initial thoughts were, because it always seemed like, obviously Justin Haley and his teammate, Allgaier, are really close. They call each other dad and son. Like, that's how close they are because of their relationship. It seemed like Chris Rice and those guys at Kaulig Racing really enjoy Haley. Haley's running decent. He's 21st in points, or he was before Pocono. I haven't checked since Pocono. But he's which is respectable for Kaulig Racing.
It's his second year.
Second year too. So a couple things that I thought, like, either one, he doesn't have the funding for next year. They can't line it up. So he decided to go elsewhere, or they told him, listen, like, we can't, if you're not bringing money, like, we got to move on. Or two, like, I feel like you don't move away from a Justin Haley if you're Kaulig unless you have somebody better lined up.
Yeah.
Right. And
who's going to fill that car? Who's going to fill that 31? Is it somebody that they already have lined up? Or are they getting rid of it altogether? Are they just going to run the 16? Like, what are they going to do there?
That's kind of where my head went. Like, when I say, like, maybe he sees something and knows something down the line, is like, hey, maybe, the dinger is right on the cutoff line. So he's right there. That car is performing well. Maybe they're thinking, hey, maybe if we get rid of the 31 and put it all into one car with AJ over the next couple of years, because I don't necessarily think he is locked up for a multi-year deal yet either.
Yeah.
So maybe Kaulig, maybe it's like either one of the two. Keep AJ Allmendinger or get rid of Justin Haley. I don't know, but I think there might be some inner workings behind this that we don't know about, because it's very strange that it's second year and it just, to go to Rick Ware, it all just, it's very, very confusing.
This is one of those deals where I think in a few weeks or months we'll be like,
it's going to make a lot more sense. Yeah. But like right now, Justin Haley, he's performing well. He's 23rd in points. He's only in his sophomore season too. And like you said, Chris Rice from College Racing always was singing his praises. Is so happy that they had Justin Haley as a driver in general. Just really, really shocking. But yeah, maybe in a couple months from now, all the pieces will show themselves and it'll all make a whole lot more sense. Maybe Colleague's going to sell a charter. Who knows? That's coming off the top of my brain. No rumors there, but you never know. But speaking of Spire Motorsports, like Eric mentioned, Kevin Bono Mannion, it will replace Kevin Ballancourt as Ty Dillon's crew chief. Apparently Spire isn't too happy with the progress of the team compared to that LaJoie car. They said, Ballancourt's been with Spire since the beginning. It was a very tough decision, but they're just hoping for a little bit better results. And they think Ty Dillon is driving well, and just the car isn't performing as well as it could. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then little pat on the back for Pocono. It was the most watched motorsports broadcast on a cable channel in 2023. All the higher rated races were on either NBC or Fox on broadcast television. So
Haley's 23rd in points after Pocono. I just wanted to tie a bow on that.
Yeah. He's doing well. He's not doing terrible. I don't know. It's just a strange situation, but that's all I have for the NASCAR news. Do you want to jump into the race weekend? We had a triple header, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup on track. Kyle Busch won the truck race. Austin Hill won the Xfinity race. And of course, Denny Hamlin won the Cup race. Matt, did you get to see any of the truck or Xfinity races?
Truck race, no. Xfinity race, I did. Yeah, I got home pretty much right in time for the Xfinity race.
So what'd you guys...
And, I was rooting hard for Josh. He had, in my mind, the most dominant car there. And, just blue turn one. Like, we saw a lot in all three series this weekend. Like, we see every year, so that... Listen... When we play NASCAR Heat or Whitey, I'm sure on sim racing, that turn one is as tricky as it seems. It's not
so fucking hard.
Like when they were explaining, not to get off topics, I know we'll get into it, but like Larson, like not getting off the gas and hitting the wall, like that's pretty easy to do on a video game. Let alone I'm imagining, what it's like in real life.
Oh yeah, you carry too much speed, you're gonna get real tight in that corner. Not gonna lie.
Yep.
You're gonna wash right up the track.
Yeah, man, I was there with you. I was wearing that same exact shirt in the grandstands for that Xfinity race, and Dana, she had my Allgaier 7 shirt on, that cool one I had, and when they were battling 1-2 the whole race, and then both of them shit happened at the end. It was just like, come on, like we couldn't at least have one of them come out on top here. And I had said in the grandstands, I think it might have been to Alex and you, Whitey, like, Junior has to be pissed again. I know he was vocal a few weeks ago about that Xfinity team and his teammates sabotaging themselves from within. And once again at Pocono, they had 2 cars that were, dominant and that could have went out there and got Junior Motorsports another win. And they let the old RCR out there, and I had to see it once again. I don't know how many times I was with Whitey when we saw Austin Hill win, but the old RCR chant, RCR. The whole crowd is dead silent behind us because they couldn't believe what happened. No one was an Austin Hill fan in the state of Pennsylvania, and here's RCR.
RCR.
I was loving it.
I was dying laughing. I wasn't even that excited to see Austin Hill win because I was pulling for Josh Berry, like you guys were. And
you always want to see the dominant car win, one of those races, because at Pocono too, this is what people don't understand. You have to earn those wins.
Oh yeah.
And I said about the Truck Series race. You go out there and you beat Kyle Busch
You fucking earned it.
Pocono in a truck, you've earned that win. And I thought I was about to give credit there. And I thought that he was going to hold the old KB off, but what a move at the end of that race that Kyle Busch pulled. He slid job him right up to the top, last turn, and he stole that win. And you know, I was hoping for it. I'm like, come on, this is the Kyle Busch that I love. Don't let your old ex-driver get out there and outshine you. And it was exciting at the end of that because it was the whole KBM, the move to Toyota. Now he has his truck team with Chevy, and these are his old, you know, drivers that he had. And leading up at the end of those restarts, what was going to happen? And I was hoping for Kyle Busch the whole time, dude. And he proved Toyota that you screwed up.
Matt,
he took them to school.
No, did you see the highlights though? Did you see any of the highlights?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. The truck race was noon on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was still traveling. I'm going to be honest with you. Up to this very second, I haven't seen a clip of that race.
So I'm going to tell you.
I heard what happened. I had you guys tell me what happened. I was talking to my buddy Justin. He told me that Corey Haim got taken to school, but I haven't seen anything.
Matt, you got to go back and just watch the last 10, 15 laps of that race. Okay. And Kyle Busch is just hunting him down. I didn't think he was going to get it done, to be honest with you. Me and Eric in the infield, we kept saying, like,
so. He had one more opportunity. I'm like, all right, and now it's the last lap. There's no way he could get you. He's not. It's not going to happen. Oh my God, Kyle Busch isn't going to win in the trucks at Pocono, and lo and behold. Oh, it was greasy. It was greasy.
Dude, we were losing our minds because for like the last 5-10 laps, me and Eric just kept going, man, Corey Haim's doing fucking awesome. Like, you beat Kyle Busch at Pocono. You fucking earned it. Like, he's earning this one right now. And we're talking about the whole, like, oh, he was a KBM driver and all that stuff, like, just schooling him. And then the fucking last lap, goddamn KB pulls the rabbit out of the hat. Pulls the trick and wins.
I love it.
Yeah, it was awesome. If you get a chance, go back.
Shout out to Pocono once again. Their new victory lane. We're coming out from under there. Kyle Busch. He's out there riding victory lane.
Fans swarmed
doing the old hat thing, taking one hat on, signing, taking pictures, throw it up. And dude, you are right there. Like it's where old Autograph Alley was. They basically just turned Autograph Alley into victory lane. And man, the crowd was huge there, right up close. So that new pit paddock thing that they have there for the infield guest campers and people coming over, looking over, the start finish line there. It was packed and it was a great addition, I thought.
I was going to ask you guys about that. I was excited, because they showed a little bit of it, throughout the broadcast, but you never really get to see the full view. So I was going to ask you guys the access that allowed you guys.
Yeah, it was a little underwhelming to see it, like the physical structure and everything. I feel like they kind of ran out of time or something like that.
But it's Pennsylvania construction, man.
Of course, but the access it gave you to get like up close to victory lane and everything, it was really fucking cool. And like Eric said, especially on Sunday, Eric, I don't think you went over there on Sunday.
No.
That whole entire area that you could stand on, you couldn't move up there. It was jam-packed. Like everything was jam-packed over there. Like just tons and tons of people having a great time. And of course, Denny Hamlin was the winner, winning in controversial fashion. The race lasted 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 4 seconds. We saw 11 cautions for 44 laps, 14 lead changes among 9 different drivers. Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, and Ty Gibbs, your top 5. So a big day for Toyota in the top 5. Fellas, do you want to jump into the race grades?
It's our NASCAR weekend race grade.
And let's start out with Matt, since he was watching at home. I want to hear his perspective first.
So going into the race, all day Sunday morning, like I was kind of in a funk. Because it was like that FOMO, that fear of missing out. Yeah. And I was super bummed that I just wasn't there. And I was like, don't let this affect the race. It's exciting. It's still Pocono. You still get to watch Pocono. So I went into it with a clear head. And guys, I love this race. I gave it an A. Yeah. So Pocono is so unique. And I think it's finally getting the credit that it deserves. We've all been seeing it. We've all, maybe call it homer bias or whatever, but we've been seeing it and singing Pocono's praises for years now. And I think the national stage is starting to catch up to that. We had passing. We had battles for the lead. We had the famous Pocono fuel strategies. There were several times throughout the race that guys almost ran out of gas trying to execute their strategies. So like usually at most tracks, you'll see that kind of play out towards the end of the race. We had it a couple times throughout the middle of the race too, guys actually almost running out of fuel. We had wild restarts. We had cars losing control. We had several hurt egos and feelings leaving that track, which always means that we probably saw something exciting.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't give it the A+ is because I think the last two yellows really kind of robbed us of a possible chase down for the win.
Yeah.
Especially that last yellow that ended the race. As we know, anything could happen on the last lap of Pocono. You just look back 2 years ago, and if a yellow had come out, we never would have saw Larson blow his tire, hit the wall, and Bowman steal the win. So I feel like we were kind of robbed a little bit, but it didn't affect it too much. I gave it an A. Wish I could have given it that A+. I was close, but I just didn't get the ending I really wanted to see. Other than that, amazing.
Matt, did you hear the response from NASCAR, the video for the whole caution and why and when they threw it today?
I didn't.
Sawyer, he had an interview today. I don't know where it was, Sirius XM, where I understood where he was coming from. He's like, we saw it happen, and with the Xfinity race, it was the same thing. He's like, Pocono's huge. There's a lot of runway there.
A lot of time for,
as he called it. So he's like, they waited. Okay. The 41. Okay. He spun out. Okay. He got going. Oh, he stopped. And he goes, okay, he got going again. And now you're going down the front stretch. Like, okay, he got going again. Now he stopped. Now they're coming into turn one. Once they started going into turn one, he goes, we waited for a while before we actually threw that yellow because Pocono, there is so much, runway there till they got back around to him. And it was just too close of a call once they were all coming through turn one there and they had to throw it. So I kind of liked his explanation. It didn't feel like it was a bullshit explanation for once.
No. And I want to be clear too. I am not arguing at all that caution should have been like, I'm not. No. NASCAR made the right call
I just
there.
was wondering if you heard like what he said about it and where and when, and because I kind of agreed with it.
Yeah.
They did let it go, and you kind of you have to throw it at a certain point, and especially when you have the same situation in the Xfinity race, the day before.
Yeah, no. They made the right call. There's no controversy over that. Coming out of turn two. Through the tunnel turn, once you hit that short stretch, I mean, dude, those guys, like, you can't have a car dead stopped on the middle of the track when those guys are coming out of turn two. Somebody would have fucking died. So, like, I totally get why they had to throw the caution. It's just a bummer that it happened.
Yeah, you would have loved to see it work out, and that's what me and Whitey said the whole time too. Like, we just wanted to see it play out. That's what you always want to get, And when you get robbed of that, that's why I kind of shit on these green-white checkers a lot because it's not what it's exciting. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes I wanted that full race strategy and everything to play out and not get to that green-white checker.
Yeah.
I have an impromptu pickle lane, and I'm going to drop it right now.
Okay.
I saw somebody post, I'm not going to give him the credit because I don't like the guy, post the idea of Pocono not throwing the yellow at the end of stages. Run it strategy.
Run it like
I thought about it.
I thought about that too.
I thought about it while I was there. And you know what? Because it runs like a road course. Everything about it kind of runs like a road course. It'd be kind of interesting what the strategies would end up coming out being like and looking like.
Yeah, I always watch Pocono like it's a road race anyways. I feel like a lot of people have that perspective now, and I think that's why people started to appreciate Pocono a little bit more than they used to. I would like to see that because they're running different strategies anyway, so you might as well give them the opportunity. Why not?
Let it run out.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see that. There's one thing I want to say. About that caution. I feel like NASCAR was in a position where either they throw it too early and then people get pissed if he fires it back up and they go, oh, well, you ruined that and we could have had a strategy, or, they waited until it was too late. They had to throw it, and the white flag already flew. So it's like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I think they made the right call, especially when you see where Chris Buescher's car was. It was like near the entrance of, I think it was near the exit of turn 3 at that point too, where like he was kind of stuck right before pit lane or whatever. So yeah, I think that was a good call. How about you, Eric? What would you give the race grade?
I give it an A all day. The racing at Pocono it's unique, like Matt said. It's for a select fan, and I feel like us going there, we've developed that type of racing love, if that makes sense, and we understand it a little bit better than the normal racing because that's where we go. That's our home track in a way.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, the crew chiefs, from what they posted on Twitter all week about it, and their love for Pocono, and they were loving the fact that it's getting what it needs. Like even Rodney Childers, Harvick's crew chief, he tweeted out like, he goes, I was so mad leaving there, with a 4th place finish. He goes, but he posted a picture of Pocono and he's like, best fan and best atmosphere all year, according to Rodney Childers going there.
Yeah.
So how do you beat that? Like him, Chris Gabehart, what did he say too? He said something about.
Yeah, I have that in my race grade, so I'll get to that.
Yeah,
but
it was just you get all that together, and now you watch the product on the racetrack, and like Matt said, you have that front stretch where they fan out wide. You're having those aero battles. You have the bumping. You have cars spinning out on their own because they're just over driving and getting out of shape. The bumps over in turn 2 over the tunnel, they caused havoc all day long on some of those cars. And, whenever there's lead changes and battles up front and battles all day in the back, I know most of the time at Pocono, I kind of get sidetracked because I follow EJ more often because I'm there. I'm in the moment. I'm watching his car go around. I lose a little bit of some of the other stuff happening because you have to pay attention. When I saw Reddick and him 1-2, weird strategy. Okay, Eric, you have to wrap your mind. What are they doing? Where you're going? You're looking into that. But from what I saw there from the top of my truck, the amount of beers that I drank, I'll take that race any day of the week.
Yeah, I agree, man. I thought it was an A. I thought it was a great race from start to finish. I know I'm not biased because I was there. Not biased because I was there, but because Matt also gave it the same grade and he watched on television. I loved seeing the aggressive driving we've been seeing at Pocono lately too. I really enjoy that. And to your point, Chris Gabehart, Denny Hamlin's crew chief, said, Pocono's a racetrack for the purists, and he's a purist. Everything goes into it. You have to have the cart, you have to have the strategy, you have to have the fuel mileage, and then you have to have the aggressive driving at the end, and that battle for the finish. I know a lot of people are mad at Denny Hamlin. He raced Kyle Larson. I'm going to say he raced him really dirty, to be honest with you. For the way Denny Hamlin talks about other guys, he does it just as much too. But at the same time, I don't feel bad for Kyle Larson either, because we've talked about on this podcast for 2 years now. Kyle Larson races just as dirty as that. He does the same exact move. And I wonder if it's a product of these composite bodies where now you could really lean on a guy and use his car as your brakes, and there's no penalty in terms of like cut tires and stuff like that, where like you don't have to worry about damaging your own car doing it, I
kind of have a problem with that, though.
Do you?
That style of racing? A little bit. Not like a lot, but I don't know, man. You should try to win without having to lean on the guys around you.
I have a problem with it when it's in the middle of the race and it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
If it's the last lap, you're not wrecking them. You're just using them up, and I'm kind of fine with it, to be honest with you. I thought what Denny did wasn't that egregious.
That's where I'm kind of caught up in the air. Like, I don't want to see it happen in the middle of the race, but I mean.
Yeah.
Listen, you're going for the win.
With this new car, though, with this new next gen car, this is why I say these green white checkers, you're gonna get that style of racing. Now, if let's say that's a long green flag run, and that's Denny was in second, and he's trying to catch Larson, right?
Yeah.
And Denny drives into turn 1 real hard, aggressive. He was maybe 2-3 car lengths behind going into 1. And he just said, I'm diving it in here. This is my opportunity to win this race. And he slides up and he takes him out. I really that to me is kind of
Matt, you getting a phone call? You getting a transmission from space?
Oh, did I cut out?
Oh no, there's just like interference. There's like someone's getting a phone call.
I was getting a phone call. A phone call did come in.
Okay.
I think that's a different scenario when you're racing in and you're going and you're trying to get to the lead. But on a green white checker, you're almost forced to do that. You're all bottled up.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna happen whether you want to do it or not. You know what I mean? So in that situation, you're close. You're right there. You're all washing up. It's a whole pack of cars is going.
Yeah.
But now if Denny dove right in there and then did that, I think he knew he was gonna slide up. That's what other drivers have been doing, and they know they're not going to make that turn. They know they're going to slide up into the guy, and it's like I think there is that, Matt, that little intent that's in that to be like, hey, he's going to hit the wall. I'm also going to hit him, but he's going to throw me off this way, and he's going to be screwed.
Yeah.
My only problem with everything that went down there, and I don't know if we're going to save this for the Denny Kyle thing for later on, or if you want to talk about it now.
No, we can talk about it now. Yeah.
My only problem with it is own it.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
You want to what?
Because he said he didn't make contact with him, and he's pointing at Kyle. Kyle's pointing at him.
Yeah.
And what it comes down to is just like own it.
So
say go up to the microphone and say, I did what I had to do to win, and I don't care.
So I almost gave Denny my records over that for not owning it. Just fucking own it, But at the same time, I kind of see why he doesn't, because that whole penalty thing that happened in the beginning of the year. So it's like
he didn't wreck him.
No, he didn't wreck him. But
you don't have to say I wrecked him. You just say I did what I had to do to win the race, and I'm not going to apologize for it.
He didn't wreck Ross Chastain either. They both finished that race, and he still got a points penalty for it. So it's like, you know what? Deny and deny.
Entire garage. This is on the entire garage. Every single driver out there. This is on them because they've allowed this to happen. This is like Whitey said earlier. This is the MO of racing this year. This is what you do. These are the moves you pull to win races at the end.
Yeah.
So if you're, like I said, the 1 week Eric Jones, like people were getting mad and that he was, moving people out of the way and driving really aggressive. And I was like defending him, being like, hey, well, that's
now.
How you're not going to get a top fucking 10 or 15 finish or win unless you start driving like everybody else that's in the front of the field. If the front of the field is driving like the back of the field, well, then the back of the field, they're going to start driving the same way, because then it just becomes a no holds barred, race. And I think it's on the garage. I think everybody has to get together at the next drivers meeting and be like, hey, what are we doing here? Is it really like, are we really not touching? Like you said, Matt, I hated that too. That was, Denny, come on, own up to it. You washed them up the racetrack. You made contact. And I don't know. I just think the garage, they need to get their shit together just as a whole. Like they're allowing this to happen.
And if NASCAR will call it low down, shit ass racing, you better.
I'm sorry.
It is. It's shit ass racing. And when it comes to the end, and like you said, like the purists, they probably couldn't stand that Denny Hamlin win to put Larson into the wall. But I'm at the point too where I don't blame either of them, because they both raced dirty at their own times to get certain wins. And this is where it comes back full circle to those guys. And to me, this is a clean wash for both of them. It was like no harm, no foul. It's let's wipe the slate clean. We both are, did our dirty shit. But at this point forward, what are we doing? And to me, I love it because Larson and Denny,
he's going to race him just as hard now.
He's going to race his ass fucking hard as hell. And I'm all for that. I'm all for seeing Larson race Denny like a motherfucker, and vice versa. So this, in all reality, if this is the way they want to race and the fans are loving it, the people are loving it, and there's only that little bit of, shit, that was kind of greasy.
Yeah.
I think it's going to keep happening and continue. It's playoffs are coming, boys. It's going to get greasier than it's ever been. So if we're worried about this now, if we're talking about this little move and one at Pocono, and there's still 5 races left, what's going to happen in the next 10 weeks, 12 weeks? It's going to be insane.
Playoff season is going to be pretty wild. Even Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin's teammate, said, like, I don't know why he's like, I don't know why he's doing that. We're getting close to the playoffs. Like, you don't want to make enemies right now. And man, what a season Martin Truex Jr. is having after last season. Just a
I'm
side
so
note.
pumped for him, man.
He had one of the fastest cars on Sunday. I thought he
could win too. Yeah.
He had the car on
I
Sunday.
thought he absolutely could have won at the end of that race.
Yeah.
Yep.
You guys want to jump into the Trekkers and Wreckers?
3 wide for the lead. 1 lap to go.
It's this week's Checkers and Wreckers.
All right. Since we started with Matt for the race grades, let's start with Eric for the Checkers and Wreckers.
All right, my Wreckers goes to Ryan Preece
Yeah.
for not letting Corey LaJoie get out of the car.
Mhm.
One, bitch move not letting somebody get out of the car.
Well,
And two,
set it up for
I
people
would
that
have
might not know.
loved- I would have loved to see Corey LaJoie just get rock him, sock him, and bop them right in the face. Because he's been rubbing me the wrong way the last couple of weeks here. And it was good to see Corey, get a little fisticuffs to the dome. But Preece, get out, let him get out.
Yeah.
That's such a bitch move when you just throw inside the car. Bad look.
So if you missed what happened, Corey LaJoie and Ryan Preece got into each other on track. I didn't see what happened. I only saw like in car, but then
It wasn't the clearest video. You couldn't really see
and
what happened.
But here's
and then the dust up on pit road that Eric is alluding to didn't get much coverage either that I've seen.
No, so here's the in-car of what happened afterwards on pit road. You can hear what Ryan Preece said to Corey LaJoie as he was punching Corey LaJoie through LaJoie's window. So Corey LaJoie was still locked into the driver's seat, which I think is a bitch move too. Let him get out and then hit him so we could all enjoy it. But here's the audio. And just fucking hitting him. So I don't know. From the in-car, it looked like LaJoie kind of drove him up the track and put him into the wall.
Dude, there was some great sound clips that came out of Pocono this weekend.
Oh yeah,
great A, dude. Great A,
dude.
Radioactive this week.
Yeah.
we didn't even get to the best audio clip. We'll save that for a little bit later.
The best audio clip of the decade.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I know Matt wants to talk about that one. But yeah, I wish we got to see Preece pop LaJoie in the face for reals. All he got was to hit him in the helmet. So.
No, on the LaJoie shit train, he was talking a little smack on EJ the last couple weeks. That's why I was a little irritated. He said he raced him a little hard. Well, apparently LaJoie's racing everybody hard right now,
Yeah.
But my Checkers goes to Eric Jones. And, I was hard on LMC the last month and a half. Like, what are they doing? What's going on? Like, Noah, you see what he's been doing.
I haven't seen what Noah's been
Eric
doing.
Jones has been skirting on the last 5 races.
Yeah.
His average finish is 11th. That's third best among every driver besides Denny Hamlin in first and Chase Elliott in second over the last 5 races. EJ's had the third best average finish. And I'm starting to believe now that, the 42 car and its races are making LMC look a little bit worse than maybe they are. You give EJ back those 150 points from that penalty, and you give the season that he's had. It wasn't the one of last year, but man, I think Noah's just making LMC look way worse than it is, dude. And like EJ's, he's churning out some top 10s, top 15s the last couple of weeks, and I'm just real proud to see that he's not giving up. He's obviously good. When you give him a good car, he's going to run well. So. I'm just excited for him for Toyota next year, but I got to give EJ credit for a hard racetrack like Pocono is. It's one of his best tracks, which I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
That it's my home track, but he usually runs well there. Started in the back 25th, 26th, something like that, and got a P9 finish on that same strategy that Reddick was running there. And it was it was happy to see my driver get a top 10 and to see the stretch she's put forth since NBC took over. Might I add.
Well, you know what, too? Looking forward to next year. 4 out of the 5.
EJ had a sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say 4 out of the 5 of the top 5 were all Toyotas. We know how well EJ rode in those JGR cars. Legacy switching over to Toyota next year. I got high hopes for Eric Jones and Eric Dovin sitting in the infield watching. So Sorry, Matt. What were you gonna say?
EJ had a 150-point penalty this year.
I think so. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It was for
Shit.
It was something in the
The
greenhouse. Was that a greenhouse penalty?
No, the greenhouse was Bowman, I think.
No, it was a part that they put back on. They repaired a part and didn't get it like recertified by NASCAR to put it back on their car.
Dude,
it was a pretty significant penalty. Maybe not 150, but it was up there.
Oh, I was gonna say if it's 150, that would put him at 472. That would put him comfortably in the playoffs. I didn't realize that he is sneakily having a.
It wasn't 150 points. It was only 60-point penalty. 150 was last year.
Okay.
That was last year's.
I might
penalty.
be thinking of Keselowski or the RFK car. Yeah. Got smashed with it.
Yeah,
so many penalties.
Yeah, so he got a 60-point penalty and he lost 5 playoff points. Let's see, it was modified greenhouse. So yeah, Eric, Matt, you were right on that one. I guess they got him and Bowman maybe on the same week.
Yeah, it was. I know the greenhouse thing. It was a couple different times it happened this year.
Yeah. So yeah, Doc 60 points. So yeah, he is behind the 8 ball a little bit there. Yeah. Was that the end of it, Eric? Was that the end of your checkers?
That was my checkers. Yeah, I gave my records already.
All right. How about you, Matt? What's your checkers and records?
My checkers goes to the crowd's reaction to Denny after the race. So not because they booed or because they cheered, but because the entire grandstands were emotional and passionate.
Yeah.
We used to see those reactions every single race in the 90s, especially when either a Dale Earnhardt or a Jeff Gordon would win a race. You just saw the passion one way or another. And I know we've gotten that a couple times, especially like when Kyle Busch usually wins a race, not recently, but in the past, you'd get a lot of boos, or when Joey Logano wins, you usually get a lot of boos. But that was the loudest. I mean, you guys were there, so you guys can speak to it. I have no business speaking to it with you guys here, but
there was a lot of 11s. There was a lot of 11s in the crowd.
A crowd reaction after a race that I can remember, like maybe ever. And what that tells me is whether they were booing or cheering, is that they care, there's emotion, and NASCAR is back,
baby.
Pocono is back, baby.
Let's go. Back. More importantly, Pocono is back.
I'll tell you what, it's been years since from my truck in the infield that I heard there was the boos. I heard them crystal clear from the infield where I was. That's how many people were booing. It was insane, the amount of boos. And, it caught me off guard. But I think Denny, he dug this grave for himself, I think, with actions detrimental. And like we talked, this move, that move, I'm never wrong. I'm always right. So the fans, we might have our villain here in Denny, too.
Yeah.
So that's important is you just hit the nail on the head, is the villain part of it. I mean, it's always nice to have, the hero, whoever that may be, but the villain in NASCAR is more important than who the hero is.
Yeah, I was also booing in the grandstands for another reason, because Denny Hamlin's won 5 out of the 8 races I've gone to see live. I'm just sick of seeing Denny Hamlin win. I'm including last year's win that got taken away from him. Denny Hamlin has won every race that I've gone to Pocono in person with, except for 2. You know who won the other 2 races that I've been at Pocono in person for?
Oh, Greg Biffle.
Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch won those races. Although, no, I saw Alex Bowman win too. So Alex Bowman got one of those. But yeah.
Biff can't surprise me with the Greg Biffle stat ever again.
No.
It's been 2 weeks off. You know I'm trying to miss. I actually saw a guy this weekend with a huge Greg Biffle t-shirt on, dude. Oh my God. I was too banged up to go up and try to get a picture with him. But oh my God, dude, I was losing it when I saw it.
Dude, I saw some cool Biffle diecasts in the dirt merchant tents in the center of the infield too. Matt, what's your records for the weekend?
My records goes to Biffle, man.
The Biff.
My records goes to Austin Dillon's helmet toss. And it's not because he did it, because, again, You know, we had the emotions, we had the hurt feelings. I love all of that. It adds to the storylines, but it was the execution.
Yeah, it was like a basketball bounce
or
pass.
lack thereof, I guess. You know, that did it for me.
For a guy, his car, I think he missed.
He did.
For a guy who once appeared in the Little League World Series, you think he'd have a better windup than that.
That's what Mike Bagley said on the
bounced it off
MRN
track.
broadcast.
Didn't he hit his car.
Dude, either the Bagman or fucking Moody said that on the MRN broadcast. He goes, you know, he played down in Williamsport, down the street here in Pennsylvania. You think he'd have better aim?
That's funny. That's funny, but that's where my head went to too. You know, it's like, what was that, dude? Like, I love the helmet toss. That's another old school thing that we don't see. Yeah, it's iconic. And he messed it up, dude. That's throwing out the first pitch and hitting it 20 feet before the mound.
That's so Austin Dillon, though. You know, taking something iconic and fucking it up, like the 3-car. Richard Childress Racing.
just anything he touches goes to shit.
He needs his front office job in the worst way. Oh God, I'm glad we're not teammates anymore, and I have to defend this shit. You want to know what though? You know what pisses me off the most? I don't think Reddick did anything wrong. He held his fucking line. Austin Dillon wrecked himself. And then RC gets on the radio, goes, that little prick wrecked us. It's like, no, he didn't. You wrecked yourself. Your grandson sucks. Get him off the track. Yeah. Put Ty Dillon in that car. See what Ty Dillon can do. You know?
I wonder why that hasn't happened, to be honest.
I don't know.
Imagine that turmoil.
Yeah. I always heard that Ty Dillon didn't want that ride. I don't know, though.
That's what I heard too, but like that's like one of the most underreported in my mind. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe we're picking at nothing there, but that I've always wondered that. Like, why hasn't Ty Dillon gotten some sort of RCR ride, even in Xfinity?
Like he went back to Xfinity.
Ty wants it more. I feel like Ty wants it more every week that he straps those seatbelts in, and he than Austin does. I feel like Austin knows that he's in that car, and I think he knows that he does this. He just goes through the motions. And I feel like Ty is scratching and scraping, and he's trying to get everything he can out of that 77 car. And I just think the passion might be there more for Ty than there is for Austin. But I agree.
Well,
get out of here.
Thankfully, Ty Dillon's got a new crew chief on the way, so maybe he'll start making up some points here and there. Whatchamacallit? Was that the end of your records?
Yeah. Let's see what you got, white man.
So, my records goes to Kyle Busch. Usually, when Kyle wins the truck race or an Xfinity race, it's a good sign for Sunday. I'm not exactly sure what the hell happened to him. Qualified terrible. Finished, or he qualified 25th. Finished in 21st. I looked up some stats myself. Average running position was 21st. He never got past 10th place all day long. 10th was his highest running position.
The wall, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he? I don't remember. I did a lot of drinking.
Yeah, he clipped the wall and then he never really recovered from it.
All right. Well,
and I'm pretty sure it was by himself too. It was one of those instances where he just overdrove the car and it didn't come all the way around on him, but he did get into the wall.
I couldn't remember. I just remember how bad he qualified, and I'm like, man, what happened to Kyle Busch? He finished on the lead lap, so that Pocono punch got to me. My checkers, though, I just have to give it to Pocono in general. You couldn't ask for a better weekend at the track. The grandstands were full. They sold out. Camping, I'm pretty sure camping was sold out. Yep. We got everything we wanted. We saw some fuel strategy. We saw different strategies. We saw aggressive driving. We saw battles for the lead. And then the experience at track. If you've never been to Pocono, if you're near the area within, a couple hours driving distance, I implore you, please, please, please come to our track. Obviously we don't need any more fans to come because we're selling it out, but we would love to try, I just think it's a great experience. The mountains are beautiful and I love it all. And, it was even packed for Xfinity. So call me a homer all you want. I love my home track. I had a great weekend. Honorary. Giving it to Ty Gibbs, though. 5th place finish at the track that started his Cup career 1 year ago, and it's been his best finish to date. Also, he's only DNF'd twice this season, which I thought was amazing for a rookie. Those are on super speedways. Just a great start for his rookie year, and he's in the hunt for the playoffs. He could point himself into the playoffs right now if he gets real lucky. So, honorary mention to Ty Gibbs. For people listening, me and Matt just blessed ourselves. But Matt, you looked like you were about to say
testicles, wallet, and watch.
Yeah, Matt, you looked like you were about to say something before that honorary Ty Gibbs one. Do you have anything to add to just loving Pocono?
Dude, I love it, man. And I'm sure people are sick of hearing it from us. You know, it's obviously we're very biased. We'll be very upfront with that. We're biased. There's nothing like that place. We've all been to a lot of different tracks between the three of us. We've been to a lot of different NASCAR circuits, and they're all great. You know, I haven't had a problem at any of them except for Phoenix.
Yeah.
And there's just something about Pocono. It's the time of year. It's the location of it. It's so big. Like everyone talks about how big Daytona and Talladega and Indianapolis is. Pocono's such a big facility, and it's just a genuinely great time. Like Whitey said, you know, if you've never been, try to get there. Try to do it. Even if you can't camp, get to the Xfinity race on Saturday and the Cup race on Sunday. It's such a great time.
I'll tell you what, when we pulled in 6 a.m. Thursday morning and we were in the staging area and I first got out of my truck and I looked at Pocono, I kid you not, I got a little choked up just being there looking at Pocono. And I wore this shirt today because Denny Hamlin didn't win. Pocono Raceway won this weekend.
Pocono won this weekend. They really did.
As I was walking around, staggering around, stumbling around, I was asking people, hey, how you doing? Is this your first? And everybody that I talked to was just having such a good time. The first timers there. I retweeted it. Whitey, I don't know if you did from the BNR page or not. Pocono tweeted out. Someone posted on Reddit, NASCAR. And
the JGR thing. Yeah.
There was this long thing about this lady. It was her first time going to the race. And she went through her whole experience. And it was enough to get you choked up. And Pocono, I think Pocono tweeted it out. I retweeted it. It was a beautiful thing this person wrote as a first time race, not just Pocono. I think it was their first race ever. And they were hooked. Already talking about going to Daytona. They met people there that they became friends with. That's what I do every year. You make new friends. You camp with them the following. It's just what you do. And Pocono the people here are great people. And I think it's about time we started getting the recognition. I know Dale Jr. tweeted praise for Pocono, and a lot of the crew chiefs, like I said, did. And I don't know who it was. At one point in time, I remember saying, like you said it, Matt, like the 90s, the crowd. I looked up at the grandstands. I turned, I said, I don't remember who it was, but I'm like, right here, right now, we're a part of something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time. No, for real. Like, you don't pack the grandstands like that in the middle of the Pocono Mountains unless something special is going on.
I've never seen it full from one end to the other. Never.
Yeah.
And it was elbow to elbow. Matt, what did that look like on TV, dude?
Dude, just like you said when you got out of the truck in the staging area and it gave you chills, it gave me chills on my couch, man, and I'm dead serious about that. Like, it was just like, and I know at the risk of sounding over dramatic, like it was like I was like proud, holy shit, because we've seen Pocono down bad.
Yeah,
like we're not quiet. It hasn't always been all rainbows and roses.
No,
it was down bad, and it wasn't too long ago that it was down bad.
It's
where
like
we were
3 years
struggling
ago
to fill those stands, and to see where it was this weekend was awesome. It was awesome.
I think that's why it means more now, because we've been through the dumps of, they're going to lose Pocono. You're going to go this. It's not doing this. It's not doing that. The racing sucks. And, now to where it's at, Dana pointed out something where a picture from 2019 we took in the same spot, Whitey, down in the grandstands, looking back towards 3 during the Xfinity race. There was nobody around us.
Yeah.
There was down by the start finish, yes. But this weekend, every single race, those grandstands, they were filled up. And that just put it in perspective too. Like, man, back then in 19, the crowd wasn't there. The racing wasn't there, but the sport in a whole is growing, allowing the vendors to come there. And, oh, man, the outside fanfare, way better than it ever was. They added so much stuff. Even the infield fanfare, they had axe throwing, all the modern stuff, little paintball for kids to go play in and run around and do. And there was just so much more this year. it felt like I was at a huge event. And other years, it didn't feel like a huge event I was at. It felt, I'm here at Pocono, little thing here, little thing there. This was nothing like that.
Last year felt like a big event too because the fanfare started getting big. When I first went to Pocono, the fanfare was so disappointing because I compared it to my only race that I'd been at that point was the 500. And I'm like, this is like rinky dink. This sucks. And now it rivals the fanfare at the 500. Yeah. And that's the biggest race of the year. Nowhere to lie. Like last year was great. It was even better this year with just all this stuff they had packed into. They had a Gravitron there. They had the Gravitron spinning around, making kids puke. It was fucking awesome.
Darn Denny went on there. 7 Crown Royals deep.
We used to years ago.
300 cigarettes.
Yeah.
We used to sneak into the infield overnight. We'd party. We'd go up there Saturday. We'd party. We'd watch the truck race. Before Xfinity, we were going up there before Xfinity even came around. And we'd party outside the track. We'd wait for it to die down until they started letting people in for the fireworks on Saturday night. We'd go in and we'd just blend in with a couple campers and we'd stay in there overnight. And I don't think you get away with that now because
there's not a spot to do it.
One, there's no room, and two, there's so it's an event now. It's not just a whatever, come on in, whatever. You got to be tight security there. So I mean, it's come a long way, and just seeing that, it's cool.
All right, so let's stop stroking the ego of Pocono because we still have some racing stuff to talk about. Joey Logano was leading really well early on, and then he got himself into the wall, and we got some audio after that accident. I know Matt was.
He needs to go to classes after this for anger management. NASCAR needs to step in.
Yeah.
All right. So before Whitey plays this, I just want to preface it with like Joey Logano is obviously an asshole, right? Like I don't condone talking to anybody like this, but this is the funniest clip you're ever going to hear in the NASCAR world.
Put the fucking truck to it. Put the truck to the fucking thing. Come here. What do you want? Push the thing up. We're pushing. I can't push it. Come here. I can't drive it. I need a tow truck. The tow. You want to be hauled? Haul me in. Hook it up. Lift it up. Hook it up.
God damn it, stupid motherfucker.
We're going to hook it from the rear and take it to pit road. Yeah, that's what I've been asking for. God, stupid sons of bitches.
Here's the thing.
He hits him with the stupid sons of bitches.
What did he think was going to happen? The tow truck said, you're going to get
They're going to hook
Joey.
you up anyways. Yeah. He was just wasting time at that point.
Did you see what his stupid idea was?
What?
They interviewed him after the race.
I didn't hear any of this. That's stupid.
I bet that worker at Pocono just wanted to sock him so bad.
They interviewed him after the race, and they were like, "What did you want him to do?" And he's like, "They need to bring 4 tires out on the wrecker." And a jack and a gun, and they need to put new boots on me out there so I can get back around the track.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry, what? So you don't want to lose fucking a lap or two? You get tires out there. What if you're on a bank like this? How are they going to change tires at Daytona in the middle of the turn when you're stuck there?
Yeah. Your
car will get rolled over if you go to put a jack on that.
Only people over the age of 70 says stupid sons of bitches.
Stupid sons of bitch.
Sons of bitches. One word.
Stupid sons of bitches. Joey Logano.
That, ladies and gentlemen, was the man who made his wife go ask for directions.
Yeah. Never let him live it down. For anyone that's new to the show, me and Eric were walking through the parking lot on that Monday Daytona 500 that Newman got into that wreck in. Was it 2020? And we saw Joey Logano in his rental car with his wife driving, right? Or no, he was driving. His wife was in the passenger seat.
She was in the passenger seat, and He was getting all he didn't know where to go. People were directing. He's like, "Get out! Where do I go? Find out where I have to go."
Yeah,
and I'm like,
he was
"Oh my
yelling at his
God."
wife to get out of the car and ask the guy working the tunnel for directions on where to get into Daytona. Dude, you've been to the 500 how many fucking times? You don't know how to get in? You're probably too early to get into the lot. Anyways, yeah, Denny and Kyle, they made contact. Kyle Larson, not too happy about it. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I had lots of drinks in the grandstand, so I don't remember a lot of the details of the race. So Matt, if there's anything that you could help us out with, anything that kind of stuck out. I know Martin Truex Jr. had a really good car. He ended up finishing in third. I thought he was going to get a second place finish, but then NASCAR kind of changed the results a little bit after review. Anything that jumps out to you, or Eric, anything that jumps out to you?
I'm trying to think.
I am too. I'm trying to think. I know I was at home. I was
the major stuff that happened was kind of the major stuff that happened.
Right.
Yeah.
There was good battles all day long. I mean, it's Pocono's so big and so like the main points is really the talk of it, the Larson thing.
Yeah.
Who else had fast cars? Well,
I thought Harvick had a really good car all day long.
Harvick had a great car.
That
Busch
had a great car.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. I think he probably could have got a third place finish if it went green. I know he was battling there.
Just a great race, man.
Yeah,
like Eric said, we covered everything that I think matters. There was, a couple different hurt feelings, a couple different instances where people got mad at each other, which again, like I said at the top of the show, always makes for a great race. And I just, again, I'm just happy.
Here, once again, Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah. Well, so
another top 10 for Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah.
We could talk about how good of a years he's having where, in the beginning, he wins the Daytona 500.
It's that 500 money.
Ricky Stenhouse, you know what I mean? Like, that's a playoff spot gone. I'll tell you what, that car is fast. It has speed, and Ricky is really wheeling that thing around. So, we praised him earlier this year, and I'll here to continue that because he's been running well.
I don't want to get in the weeds with this because I know we're running low on time here, but and I love Josh Berry, so this is going to take a lot for me to say this, but wouldn't Ricky, coming from the dirt world, Tony Stewart, wouldn't Ricky have been perfect to take over that 4 car? I think he deserves a shot in a top car. That's just me.
I mean, it would be. I don't know though. I don't know.
There could be more than one car open in that field, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's
true, man.
Oh, I was going to
Ricky
say
in the 10 car.
I was going to say I don't know the stats of Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s contract with GTG Doherty either. I don't even know if he was available.
They can get out of it.
I think Ricky likes being part of a single team. I think he's benefited more by not having teammates and just having that one car. And he's at this point forward, he's becoming a top ride himself in that in that car. So
and that's the thing too. You look at the other SHR teammates. Is it even an upgrade for him? That's
true. No, that's true. You're right.
Like, how much does Harvick really have to do with how well the 4 is running? I'm gonna say more than just a little bit. So I don't know. You might be fearful of a downgrade at that point.
No, that's true.
Let's see. The last thing, though, here on the Bumper Run podcast, everyone loves to talk about the winner, one Denny Hamlin on a Monday. We really didn't talk much about him because, he kind of just took the lead near the end there. But here on the Bumper Run podcast, we like to talk about the guy who came in last place, and that was one Daniel Suarez. He was caught up in the wreck with Joey Logano. Logano actually spun by himself in front of Suarez, and then Suarez kind of spun by himself, I think, trying to avoid Logano, and that ended his day. Just unfortunate for his playoff hopes. It drops him down to minus 23 points below the cut line, so he's got some work to do in the next couple of races if he wants to point himself in, or maybe he could get a win at the Indy road course. He is a pretty competent road course racer. Other than that, I do have one single pickle lane for you guys. After seeing the crowd grow at Pocono, there was a picture floating around from NASCAR man on Twitter of the 2019 infield at one of the races, and then this year's infield. Dramatically more people. 2019 obviously had 2 races. You had the June race, you had July race. I know a lot of people went to one or the other, not necessarily both. I know the majority of us went to both. Matt, you were always on vacation for the summer one. I try to hit up both. Do you think, though, watching the crowd grow, knowing that we only have one date, you kind of combine all those people, I feel like it's had a really good effect on Pocono. Should Cup limit tracks to one date per year?
I mean, Pocono is thriving because of the one race a year. Yeah, I mean, there's enough tracks out there where we can hit it up. I mean, not every track.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess no would be my answer if the question is should the limit be one per track?
Which tracks don't apply? Because I think I have the same ones.
Probably Daytona, Talladega, Bristol.
I would say we only need the Bristol night race. I don't think we need the spring race in Bristol. The crowds don't show up. They threw the dirt on it, and the crowd still didn't show up. I think we could get along with just the playoff race.
Yeah, Charlotte, I guess, it's the hub of NASCAR, so you're probably always going to have two races
Give
there.
Us
you
the
got
600 and the Roval. Yeah.
Yep. And then maybe Darlington, but even Darlington, like I'd be okay getting rid of the spring race and making the Southern 500 like it always was on Labor Day weekend.
Me too. I agree on that one.
I wouldn't get rid of Darlington or Pocono. EJ runs well at both those racetracks. I want to put 3, 4 of them on. When he went 2020, when they were there every weekend, he dominated that year.
Yeah, he does run really great at Darlington, but he always does better in the 500 than he does in the 400 milers too. So maybe just give him that one win in the fall. Make it.
But I mean, the larger point going back to it is, one race, man, one race per track. Like I said, there's enough racetracks out there where we can make it work like that. I don't believe that would be a problem.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of talk about this where people put like, oh, we could have, if you get rid of the doubles, you could have 38 unique, individual races that you have to get through. And, I like the fact of only going one. Even the super speedways, I like going to one because down the road, you never know. Just look what they did to Atlanta. You mean to tell me they wouldn't do that to Texas Motor Speedway too? Now we have more than just Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta as super speedway style racing to mix it in there to give more of that flavor of racing. But you could have a very, very unique schedule, and you put that schedule up against any else, the series. Our drivers, man, they have to be ready for anything, any given Sunday, and that's what I do love about our sport. But man, super speedway racing, Daytona, Talladega, I'm even like, man, you can't get rid of them.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I would love to see Daytona stay too on the grid. Charlotte, just because they have the Roval in the fall that I really do like. Other than that, even Talladega, I think we only really need it once. I don't know if we need.
I'm curious to see what the Richmond turnout is this week as far as crowd engagement. Man, I'm going to be paying attention to that because now that I performed, I did my duty of getting to the racetrack and bringing the crew of my friends and people up there. Let's go, Richmond. You're up. We are on a hot streak.
And we are up because
Marty, you've got to come back with me.
Where?
The next NASCAR Cup race. It's the weekend preview.
And we are heading to Virginia and Wisconsin. Saturday afternoon, Xfinity hits Road America 3 p.m. on NBC for the Road America 180. And then Saturday night, Under the Lights in Richmond, Trucks on Track 7:30 on FS1 for the Worldwide Express 250. Sunday, Cup on Track 3 p.m. on USA for the Cookout 400. And to go over our picks from last week. So we missed last week's episode because me and Matt were on vacation. But to go over our New Hampshire picks, let's see. I picked Christopher Bell. He got me 14 points. Matt picks Martin Truex Jr. He got the win and 60 points. And then Eric, you picked Kyle Busch. He got you 1 point. So a devastating finish. And then because we weren't on the podcast for Pocono, we decided to, just so we had some picks, we went with our drivers. We did the Homer picks. I have Reddick with 47 points. Matt has Chase Elliott with 27 points. And Eric has Eric Jones with 29 points. All of our guys in the top 10. So I go last. Eric goes second. And Matt goes first. Who are you guys picking for Richmond?
I'm going to make mine super simple, man. He won this race in the spring. He just got fenced. He's pissed off, and I think he's going to come out there and dominate again. I'm going Kyle Larson in the 5.
Okay, I like it. How about you, Eric? Who are you thinking?
I'm going with, there's a trend this year. We kind of stopped the old how many new drivers are going to win.
Yeah,
we're getting these multiple drivers coming through here getting wins now. I think this is kind of a weekend where he needs this. This isn't a very confident pick in me, but I think it's something that maybe every team needs to get that spark, and they'll go and get it out there. And I think Ross Chastain needs a win, and I think he needs to get out there and at least run up front. And I'm going to go with the 1 of Ross Chastain.
I'm divided between 2 picks. The Toyota.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Martin Truex Jr.
or Slick Willie.
Denny Hamlin.
No, Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is one. So the Toyotas have been always ran really well in Richmond the last couple of years. But I'm also looking at Kevin Harvick, who won this race last year. It's his final season. It's a short track. It's a veteran type short track. I want Harvick to win. I want him to go out with one last one. So I'm going to go with a guy who also needs a win. I'm going with Kevin Harvick to win himself into the playoffs and shake things up a little bit.
He's there, man. He's right there. He's on the cusp.
I mean, he ran really good at Pocono. I think they could run with that momentum. And man, I just want to see it happen. Our buddy Shredder Shrey gave me a koozie. We swapped koozies in the grandstands. I got myself a forever koozie. I'm hoping that they has a championship run this year, but we will find out this weekend. Right now, we are 21 races into the 2023 season, and we have 11 different winners locked into the playoffs. We have Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kyle Busch, William Byron, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Ross Chastain. Can Ross Chastain get his second win of the season? Can Kyle Larson get his third win of the season? Or can Kevin Harvick possibly get his final win of his career and into the playoffs in his first win of the season? We'll find out this Sunday on track, 3 p.m. on USA for the Cookout 400 down in Richmond, and we'll break it all down for you right here on the Bump and Run podcast. For Matt the Statman Reilly, for Eric Daytona Ron, and for, I believe it's Gus the Cat on Eric Daytona Ron's lap, I'm Michael D. White saying have a good night.